Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka post end-of-year messages on social media. Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka enjoyed strong seasons in 2025, adding to their Grand Slam tallies. The American #1 picked up her second Grand Slam title at the French Open, defeating Sabalenka in the final. Sabalenka was made to wait until the final major of the year to lift a trophy, but secured victory at Flushing Meadows, defending her title with a straight sets win over Amanda Anisimova. Both players will be hoping to achieve even more success in the new year, when Grand Slam tennis returns at the Australian Open. Before then, Gauff and Sabalenka have taken to social media, sharing messages with their millions of fans. Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka thank 2025 in end-of-year messages. World number 3, Gauff, posted the following message to Instagram. "A lot of dreams fulfilled, a lot of love shared, and a lot of gratitude," she said. "Thank you, 2025. Sabalenka sent a similar message on her Instagram account. "Thank you, 2025, for all the love, laughs, and lessons learned along the way," she said. "This year was definitely one for the books." Neither player will forget 2025 in a hurry, but how did they fare when they played each other this year? Aryna Sabalenka versus Coco Gauff in 2025. Gauff and Sabalenka met for the first time this year in the final of the Madrid Open on clay. Showing her class in the Spanish capital, Sabalenka defeated Gauff 6-3, 7-6. Disappointed with the result. Gauff had a point to prove when she qualified for the championship match at Roland Garros. With Sabalenka standing in her way, Gauff lost the first set in a tiebreaker, but soon turned things around, taking advantage of the windy conditions on court. Philippe Chatrier. Sabalenka struggled to keep control of her emotions as she fell to a 3-set defeat, losing her second consecutive Grand Slam final. Failing to compose herself in time for her post-match duties, Sabalenka made several comments which she later apologized for. "If Iga Swiatek had beaten me the other day, I think she would have gone out today and gotten the win," said Sabalenka. Sabalenka's suggestion that Swiatek would have beaten Gauff in the final was poorly received. Anticipation was high for Sabalenka and Gauff's third match of the year, but fans had to wait until November, when they met at the WTA Finals in Riyadh. There, it was Sabalenka who prevailed, winning 7-6, 6-2, to clinch their 2025 head-to-head 2-1. That only time will tell if the Belarusian can maintain that form should they face off again in the new year. Perhaps the pair will face off at the Australian Open, which begins on Sunday, January 18, 2026. At the end of the tennis season, when stadium lights dim and the sound of a ball meeting strings fades into memory, something quieter takes over. Phones glow. Thumbs hover. Words appear, not shouted across courts, but shared across timelines. For Coco Gauff and Aryna Sabalenka, end-of-year messages on social media become a final rally of the season, reflective, revealing, and unmistakably human. Their posts arrive from different places, shaped by different journeys, yet they sit side by side in the endless scroll. Two champions. Two voices. 1 year, folded into a handful of sentences, photos, and emojis. Coco Gauff. Gratitude as a compass. Coco's end-of-year message feels like a deep breath after a long run. There's gratitude first, always gratitude. She thanks her team, her family, her fans, and the version of herself that kept going even when confidence wobbled. The tone isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It carries the calm assurance of someone who knows she's still becoming. Her words read like a handwritten note taped inside a locker, thankful for lessons, proud of growth, excited for what's next. The photos tell the rest of the story. Moments from practice courts, trophies held with a shy smile, candid shots that show sweat and joy in equal measure. There's no attempt to polish the year into perfection. Instead, she lets the edges show. What stands out most is her sense of time. Coco writes like someone aware that she's living in chapters, not conclusions. She acknowledges the pressure of expectations but reframes it as fuel. The year wasn't just about wins, it was about learning how to lose without losing belief. In that way, her post feels less like a recap and more like a promise, to herself as much as to anyone watching. Her message carries a quiet power. Success doesn't cancel vulnerability, it coexists with it. And for fans scrolling late at night, that honesty lands. Aryna Sabalenka. Fire. Framed by reflection, Aryna's end-of-year message arrives with a different energy, bold, unapologetic, and charged with emotion. Where Coco's post feels like a steady sunrise, Aryna's is a bonfire at dusk. She reflects on battles fought, strength forged, and the relentless work that defined her year. Her words acknowledge the chaos of the season, the highs that lifted her skyward and the lows that tested her resolve. There's pride here, but it's earned pride, carved from effort. She writes about resilience not as a concept, but as a lived experience, getting back up, swinging again, trusting power even when it misfires. The images she shares are electric, on-court roars, clenched fists, eyes blazing with intensity. Yet woven between them are softer moments. A quiet smile, a team huddle, a still frame that hints at exhaustion and satisfaction intertwined. Aryna doesn't dilute her fierceness, she contextualizes it. Her message reads like a declaration. I am still here. I am still hungry. It's less about closure and more about momentum. The year ends, but her drive doesn't. For her fans, the post feels like a drumbeat carrying into the off-season, a reminder that rest is strategic, not passive. Two voices, shared humanity seen together. Coco Gauff's and Aryna Sabalenka's posts feel like two sides of the same coin. One leans into gratitude and growth, the other into strength and survival. But beneath the stylistic differences lies a shared truth. Both are using social media not just to broadcast success, but to make sense of it. Neither post hides the cost of competition. Neither pretends that a season is simple. They both recognize the invisible labor, the hours, the doubts, the rebuilding that fans rarely see during televised matches. In doing so, they transform their feeds into something more than highlight reels. They become journals, open to millions. There's also an unspoken conversation between them. Different generations, different personalities, but the same sport demanding everything. Coco's message hints at a future unfolding. Aryna's asserts a present being claimed. Together, they map the spectrum of elite tennis life. The final scroll as the year closes, their messages drift down timelines, liked and shared and saved. For some fans, they're inspiration. For others, reassurance. For many, they're simply real that in a world where athletes are often reduced to stats and scores, these end-of-year posts restore dimension. Coco Gauff reminds us that growth can be gentle and determined at once. Aryna Sabalenka reminds us that power can be reflective without losing its edge. The season ends not with a handshake at the net, but with two posts, different in tone, united in purpose, signing off the year and quietly asking the same question of themselves and everyone watching. What comes next?